Sid and Jack from grade
Cool.
two, welcome. How are you guys?
Hello, thank you for having us, Matt.
So
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
we have a new album coming out February 17th on HellCat, correct?
Correct.
That
All
is
right.
correct.
Name of the album is called Grade Two. Where did you guys come up with that? What happens in the life of a band when you guys go, you know what, screw it. We are going to just self-title it.
Uh, there wasn't actually a plan for it. We kind of had this group of songs, and that we had been writing through the pandemic, pre-pandemic. Like even when we come out of the last record, we carried on, and when we got to the studio for the previous record, we wrote a shit ton more songs. It didn't really just stop at the group of songs we had. So this time around, there wasn't really like, okay, this is going to be the theme or this is where it's heading. We just had this group of songs. And then by the time we had finished tracking and it got down to the discussion of the artwork, there wasn't really like a standout, here's the title. It was just felt like this is what we've worked towards. This is a sound we've been trying to capture. We felt like we captured it, and it just sums up the band as a whole, really. So it's like, we'll just stamp our name on it, and that's the package. Like, it's the band name, the 10 years leading up to the record, and this is it, kind of thing.
For the longest time, we were trying to find a theme, weren't we? We were like, maybe there's a theme here, there's a theme there. Like, we're trying to work out ways we can make it make sense. And we tried so many ideas. It was just like, you know what? It's just grade two. Like, it's kind of like Sid says, the point we've been building up to for the past 10 years. Kind of every album we've had has had like an evolution in sound.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a sound where we're like, okay, we kind of feel like we're at a point where we're like, we're very happy with this, and we can confidently say this is grade two. Do you know what I mean?
Now, I might tick off some people at your label. What were some of the name of the album that you guys wanted to name the album that everyone, like, one of you guys came up with it and everybody was like, like looked and was like, yeah, we're not going with that one.
Oh yeah, what was tomorrow's headline was one.
Okay.
One of that,
Oh yeah.
cool one. We thought that sounded a bit too arrogant though.
Right. I mean, you guys should have just named it like Indestructible or Life Won't Wait, or just like piggyback off of that.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of ripped off Social Distortions. What was mine? Trying times, leave them behind, which is a lyric from the single.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we realised it's really similar to Social Distortions. Hard Times and Nursery Rhymes?
Yeah, Hard Times and Nursery Rhymes.
And I was like, oh right, yeah, I've just.
So you guys have been going for.
We only just finished touring with Social Distortions, so I was obviously.
Okay, so you guys, 10 years now, we've been a band, right? Started in 2013.
So yeah.
So when you guys first started, I saw that you guys were doing cover songs. Did you do any Bad Manners?
No, the only Scar songs we touched on was specials, and that was very brief, and we never actually played it live. It was only while we were still in school. And I think the only reason we did that is that was like one of 3 songs I could play. So, that was the only reason that one ever come into the mix.
So with the new album, let's give it its moment here. How is this one different from your previous one in 2019, Graveyard of Islands, which was a great album, by the way?
Well, I think firstly, it was something that's completely come from us solely in the way that Graveyard Island was a bit of an interesting album, because we came to the studio with Tim with a load of songs, and then we wrote a load more songs with Tim, and you can tell on that album the ones that are written with Tim, it's got his touch on it. Right. So what ended up happening was we've got this amazing album which ended up having a real merge of influences with Tim and us, whereas this one we felt was like, we've got it all now, and we came in with these songs but we've been writing over lockdown, and then those were the songs that we ended up going with in the final cut. Essentially, we wrote a couple extra songs which are going to be in the album as well, which were amazing as well. But this felt like, we really sort of made a groundbreaking moment with our songwriting, and it felt good.
2019, I actually I actually heard about you guys from, I can't even remember which artist it was. It was a Pirate Press artist. And they're like, we got these mates over, over here. And have you heard them? Like they're with HellCat and everything. And they talked about how great of guys you were. And, they're like the nicest people. And I checked it out and I was like, this is a great album. And, then went back into the catalog and listened to the earlier stuff. And you can definitely tell where Tim put his thumbprint on it. And then as luck had it, it seemed like you guys were starting to go up the mountain as an artist, and then the entire world shuts down. And it was like, because I knew you guys were going to be coming to the States to tour and tour, and then everything shuts down. Did you guys kind of feel like during that time as a band, like, what the crap? What? Because nobody thought it was going to last a year and a half.
Well, actually, we sat in Canada for 2 weeks thinking it was going to blow over. So
that's right. I remember seeing that.
You're telling us. Don't worry. Like, we'll be fine. We'll go down to Texas and start the next tour. From there, it'll blow over in 2 weeks, and each day it just got progressively worse. I was like, okay, we should probably think about going home now.
Were you guys like? Were you guys like calling your record label and being like, should we go home? Do you guys want to,
advice we should leave?
Right.
Kind of like, you should go home. And then it was kind of like, well, actually, hang on, like maybe we could get there and this tour will happen. And then I think it was Canada announced that they were going into a lockdown. And at that point, it was like, okay, this isn't happening. And just everything was cancelled. Like each week you would get a new update of. So we were due on 3 tours in that tour of the States. We were joining 3 separate legs of the tour. The first one was cancelled with Anti-Flag. Then the Casualties we were due to meet in Texas, and then there was a third one that was never announced, unfortunately, because it clashed with one of the other tours. So we had to wait to finish one to announce it. And we were due to join the Boston to Berkeley run with the Dropkicks and Rancid, but never happened. So we played one show, and I think the whole tour was due to be like 51 shows. It was in the 50s. It was like 51 shows. It was a nightmare. Like, we got home, me and Jack went and got a job at a supermarket, working night shifts, like 10 p.m. till 7 a.m. And you would just get these notifications from your calendar tonight in wherever. It's just like, oh, man, as we're stacking milk and like beans. And
so was it?
It was heartbreaking.
I mean, was it hard for you guys because you guys were still trying to promote Graveyard Island? But everybody's trying to promote something at that point. They're trying to either, hustle their merchandise, or we're doing a live stream. And as the lockdown went on, you saw live streams with artists just getting more and more pathetic. Like they're like, oh, they're losing their mind being in lockdown. Was that like, was it, you guys have been around for a while, but how was that for the band? Like, as you guys, cause it just kind of seems like a massive, psych out.
Yeah, we're guilty of the live stream as well. We fell into that one. We couldn't. There was nothing else to do. Nothing else to do. But I think, exactly. It was tough to take, but we cracked on with it. I think fair enough. We just, like Sid said, we just got jobs and just went on with our lives. But it was quite a hard pill to take. But we kind of just kept saying to ourselves, like, everyone's in the same situation. We're not special. Do you know what I mean? But like you say, though, Matthew, it did kind of feel like we were just about to break this we're on this upward trajectory, and then straight away just gets knocked down. So it was.
So
but saying that, we did write that entire album over that lockdown. So like, there's a silver lining that I think we were really creative during that time. I mean, to be fair, the first 6 months were rough. We probably were the least creative we've ever been. That was just the depression period. And then we bounced back, to be fair, and like I think we did all right out of it in the end.
Well, that was actually my question, is for you guys, what was your mindset when you were making this new album versus previous ones? Because of worldwide lockdown, canceled tours, disappointment. Like, obviously, I mean, the first 6 months, it's like, I don't need to shower. I can wear the same clothes every day. Like, I thought the first week was like cool. Like, okay, this is cool. This has never happened in the world before. And then you know, by the second week when Netflix says like, you've watched everything, go do something else with your life. How was it like? And then when it came to now with the album releasing in 2023, have you guys been writing this entire time, or was it a lot of production? What was going on over the last, where have you guys been for the last 3 years? There we go. That's when it came to this album.
Well, the first thing I made note of was that it's not to write about COVID. It's so difficult not to write about COVID, but like nobody wants to hear a COVID song. Do you know what I mean? The whole point for me was to write music that people can get an escape from the shit reality.
Right.
And just like COVID is not what people want to sing about. So I think we did well to avoid that. I mean, you can get inspired by COVID with different things, like just being skinned, like Brassic, for example, was an element of that, and many things. But sorry, Sid, what are you going to say as well, mate?
I think it's like the fact we had more time was quite nice. Like I don't think we realised it. There was a lot of, okay, when are we going to play next? When are we going to do this? But when it comes down to every track that's on the record, if we were to show you the demos, there's like 4 different versions of that song. It was like, it would have the original one, which would have probably been the one that we took to the studio to be like, this is the song we've got. But instead we had the time to like, we would demo it, rehearse it as if it was going to be in the set, and then kind of say like, oh, okay, this bit isn't working. Let's re-demo it, try it again. Same thing. Okay, this intro needs to change. So there was a lot of songs that have multiple versions till it got to the final place, which is something we never did before. Normally we would just bash out a structure, some lyrics. It's like, there you go, there's the song. Whereas this time around, it was like, which bit isn't working, or what can we add? What can we take away? So there's the time element wasn't appreciated when we were doing it. Looking back was definitely a silver lining, just to have that time to reflect.
So with the new album, do we have any guest features on it?
We do not. We've kept it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's awesome. And you guys are going on tour in February and March in the UK, Europe?
Yeah. So we got a UK tour in February and March. There's 2 shows in February and then the rest is in March. And today we just announced the European tour, and we're going to be going out with Death by Stereo as well. So that's going to be a huge run.
And the response for that tour announcement, it's like the Beatles have announced that, you guys are going on tour. It's been really cool to see. Now, how has the band changed? How have you guys changed from, basically what I'm asking is if you can go back 10 years when you guys started 9-10 years ago, what have you learned about being in a band, what you thought the industry was going to be like? And then you're like, yeah, it's nothing like that. Like, what have you guys learned that you could share with that person right now who thinks they have the music industry figured out completely?
Oh, blimey.
Just because the beer's free, you don't need to drink it all. Our first few years was just like a free. It was like we were at the time we were all under 18, so it's just like, whoa, shit, all this beer's free. Like, and it was just a party.
Every weekend we would just get blackout drunk, just make fools of ourselves.
Is that okay?
Years as well.
So how do you guys stay healthy now on tour? And we're only getting blackout drunk once a week, or like, what do you guys, I guess,
That's the thing is I sometimes look back and I think, fuck, we're pretty boring now. Like, I don't really get drunk on tour that much anymore. I mean, I'm getting old. I'm only 24, for fuck's sake.
Now it's smoothies, apples. Like, it's all changed already.
You got to do the green juice right here. No, growing up, you'd always think backstage is going to be like this, like amazing rock and roll experience. And then you go backstage to some bands and it's like, this is pretty boring. You know what I'm saying? But you have to at this point, you have to, because you got to stay healthy. Now,
the way we tour though kind of enforces it. Like we do really stupid tours where we just don't have days off because we just think a day off is money lost. So we just try and get as much in as possible. And it means, you literally can't party every night, or you'll put on a shit show the next day.
Right.
So you you got to look after your voice. You got to get your sleep in. You got to get your 8 hours, but you never do. But you got to try.
Now, how did you guys get on the radar of HellCat? Who called Tim Armstrong every day until he like listened to the demo?
So we met Lars years ago when we'd probably been a band for about a year and a half at this point, because I think the show was in 2014, and his band, the Old Film Casuals, come to the UK, and he was looking for new bands so it was a triple bill. It was Running Riot and Control, and they wanted an opening band every night. So we ended up playing with them in Bristol, and me and Jack had both just had fake IDs made. And we got drunk in a park before we played in there, made complete fools of ourselves. Lars said he never wanted to see us again. And then fast forward 3 years, we got our shit together and was like, okay, like we had released Break the Routine at this point. So the band had already changed. It was like, okay, we kind of got the partying out of the way, and it was like, this is what we're going to do now. And we'd played a few shows with the German band Stomper 98, which Lars later went on to join. Sebi, the singer, very grateful to him because he put in the recommendation that we should be on the tour with them. It was their first tour in a few years, and it was a Nightliner tour. So Sebi tells Lars was like, no, we don't want this band on this tour, trust me. So I get a call from Sebi. It's like, there's rules if you're coming on this tour. And after he told us the rules, we found out, it's like, okay, Lars is coming. We played the first show. After that, we kind of realised we were the only 4 native English speakers on this bus. So each night we just got closer and closer, and then completely changed our opinion that he had of us before. And he could see that we were no longer just this like band that was there just for like shits and giggles.
Right.
And he heard the record, and we kind of said like, look, we've started working on some new stuff. And the original plan was he was going to produce the next record. And then I guess he believed that Tim was going to be the right guy to do it instead. And Tim took the reins in the producing. And it snowballed very, very quickly. And it completely, we were already on like a new path of like, okay, this is how we want to do it. Just that miles an hour. It was like, okay, this is where you're heading. And that's how it came about.
Now, did you guys grow up listening to Rancid?
I did. I've got family videos, and I'm about 3 or 4 years old. Time bomb the complete wrong way round. Like white coat, shoes, the wrong order.
So
they were on all the time.
So you grow up listening to Rancid, and then Lars tells you, "Piss off! I don't ever want to talk to you again." Like that. That's got to be a great experience. That's got to be a great feeling.
Luckily, he was actually very nice to us on the night, to be fair, wasn't he? He was very polite considering how we were to him. He actually got us we didn't have anywhere to stay, so he put us up in a hotel. He got us in a taxi home. He was like, I think it's because did he talk to your dad previously, Sid, and he was worried about your dad or something, maybe?
Whole thing of like, at this point, we'd probably played like a handful of shows, like hardly played. We're traveling 4 hours to this other city. How old we would have been at the time, like 15 maybe. And like, my family were like, well, where are you going to stay? I have no idea. So yeah, we got a call, and then like Lars sorted everything. Yeah, he was like, everything. It was, looking back for us, it was like this amazing night, but I guess we didn't leave that impression.
Now, how has your perspective on songwriting and production changed since you've worked with Tim, who arguably in punk music, I think is one of the best songwriters? How is that, like, was there any pushback when you first started working with him and he's like, no, we're going to change this, and you were just like, no, I really like it? Was there any of that, or did you just submit and be like, you know, you're Tim Armstrong?
Yeah, we definitely took on everything he had to say, because it was our first time really working with a producer full stop, for one, let alone someone like Tim Armstrong. And we were just learning. We were just listening to everything he had to say, and we could just learn anything we can from him. Because at this point, we were still working a lot of shit out. So what ended up happening after that first session, Graveyard Islands, we went over and we just learned so much from him. With just like, you know, different ways to use chords, different ways to use modulation, whatever it was, these little tricks he has. Like, and I think the main thing you can take from Tim's writing style is obviously simple chord structures, and also just cut into the chase and cut in the fat was the main thing. Like we came into that, came into the studio with Graveyard Island with songs that are like 4-5 minutes long, like on average. They were all so long. And like just like 2-minute breakdowns here and there. Like it's like, you know, there's a time and a place for that, don't get me wrong. But we overkilled it a lot. So that was the one thing he was like, right, we're gonna cut this down, cut that down, and after it just cut the fat, like we say. And it made it just a much more punchier record, and we were like, fuck, that's such an obvious trick. But for punk, it works. Like, it's what you want. You want to cut the bullshit. Mm-hmm. So that was probably the main thing, like, put simply. And then after that, I think that's what inspired us, was the main inspiration for this next album, is like, we learned so much from that session, then we could go away and take these tricks and add it to our own writing style. And now we've got this self-titled album, which we feel like it's just another step up, thanks to what we learned with Tim.
Well, it seems like from Graveyard Island to the songs you guys have released already, a lot more melodic, more focused. I mean, when you guys released Brassic, is that what it is? Brassic? Yeah. Which we're going to get to that in a second, because you guys almost screwed me with a bunch of people, but we'll get to that in a moment. It's like, you know, all of a sudden you got the background vocals with the females and everything. And it was like, oh, wow, this is like a kind of a departure from what Graveyard Island was and all that, where that was more kind of just the meat and bones of punk rock. This added a little bit more flair to it. So it was really cool to hear. So the other day I was doing a Twitch stream. I was a guest on a Twitch stream, and they're showcasing new music that released. And I was like, oh, well, I'm great. Check out grade 2, Brassic. It's Brassic, right? Brassic?
No, it's Brassic.
Brassic, that's right. So all of a sudden the Twitch stream is like, what the crap is that? And I was like, I don't know. So please help explain to us US normies here what that means.
Brassic is slang which comes from Cockney rhyming slang for Brassic lint, which is rhymes with skint. Brassic lint, skin, and skint means you're broke, you got no money.
Okay, so if a girl I'm dating says you're so Brassic, that's not a good thing, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Everybody was like, like the people in the Twitch stream are like, this is great, and then they're like, what does it mean? And the guy looked at me, and I was like, I don't know, it's just a good song, man. It's like a banger of a song. And then, but now I know that I will not take that as a compliment. So the last
thing, depends what you see as a compliment, but yeah.
Are you guys going to be releasing another single before February 17th, or is that it for now? We have to wait till February 17th for any new music from you guys.
No, there's a new one coming January the 23rd.
Okay. All right.
One more. Are we allowed to say the title? I don't even know.
Hey, you know what?
I don't even know if that's allowed to be said, but I'm sure it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. It's called Midnight Fairy. It's a whole story about how we live like out on this little island off the UK. It's our story of going out, and how you have to get home, basically.
All right, and then you guys gonna be we got the tour. Are you guys gonna be doing a US tour, or is that in the works?
It's in the works. We haven't got anything that's concrete at the moment. Post-pandemic, every band under the sun is on tour, so it takes a lot longer to prep tours at the moment. But we will be back.
Okay. Well, when you guys do, come to Nashville. I told you this before we started. I'll introduce you to Nashville Hot Chicken. And then my last question, I ask every artist this. So, and I usually don't get to interview two at the same time. So this is like we are sending out a search party to look for Jake, just so you know. Like we're gonna look under couches and in cars. We're gonna look for Jake. But
your guess is as good as ours, mate. Honestly, we don't know either.
He's probably at a pub right now, pissing Lars off or something like that again. No, but what do you guys, each one of you guys, like with everything that has happened, the ups and downs, the starting off as a cover band, getting signed to HellCat, supposed to have these tours, everything canceled, girlfriends, life, whatever. What is to you guys the definition of success that you would want to share? You know, like basically, if you died tomorrow and you lost everything, what would you want to be known for?
Oh, damn. I'll let you take that one first, Jack.
Fucking hell, yeah, I don't know. Well, success in terms of the band is just making music that you're truly happy with and releasing, and that other people can appreciate, I suppose. I don't know. It's a hard one, but being able to actually continue to do what you do for as long as possible is all I care about. Like, as long as we can carry on touring and making music for as long as humanly possible, I'm happy. And as long as we keep making music that's true to us, that's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, I'd kind of echo that. I mean, it's pretty mad that we live on a very small island, very, very small. And then, like, even talking to you now, you're out in Nashville, that our music has reached.
Mm-hmm.
It's still very, like, mind-blowing. And getting to travel, see these places is, and us as a band, we don't take for granted. And I think that's the biggest success in its own right, being able to see these places that realistically I would have never been able to see.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you guys get to Nashville, you know, hey, don't MGK me or something, and then your album comes out, and all of a sudden you come to Nashville, and now you're too good to, you know, come see me, come hang out with me. All right, I'll show you where all the good areas are. Guys, I appreciate your time. Good luck on the album. We're gonna actually we're gonna make Brassic, when this interview releases, we're gonna make that the song of the week again on our playlist. So we're gonna introduce that to even more people. And I'm gonna get a shirt. I guess I got to order one from. I want a HellCat shirt. Sid, you're in LA. Can you swing by the office and give me a HellCat shirt? Because you can't buy them anywhere. All right. Work your magic for me.
One, and I haven't even got one.
Yeah, I was like, dude, because I love the logo and it's HellCat. Dude, for years, I'm like, I could get every freaking grade 2 Rat Boy Interrupters. I can get a Rancid hockey jersey. I can't get a HellCat shirt. You know, it's kind of sad. But
I know.
Guys, good luck on the album. Thank you for your time. And we will see you in Nashville soon. And we'll bring you back later in the year. Hopefully you guys will still want to do this. And, you know, by doing this, mean talking to me, and we'll see how everything is going. Then once you're able to actually promote an album when the world hasn't shut down completely. So
thank you very much for having us.
All right.
I'm holding you to that hot chicken, mate.
Hey, come on by.
Likewise.
In Nashville, the best hot chicken is always in like the place where you get out of the car and you kind of look around like, am I going to get stabbed in the neck here? That's the best places for the Nashville hot chicken. So I'll take you guys there. It's going to be great. But thanks for your time, guys.
Cheers, Matthew.
Thank you for having us.